So, welcome to managing RH/CentOS with SUSE Manager. We don't put the RH there because it's assumed knowledge, right? If you don't know what that is, then you probably shouldn't be here in this session. Yeah, and I don't want it to be internet searchable and have me associated with those words. Yeah. So, my name is Don Vosburg. I'm an SE. I'm also on the SUSE Manager core team, and this is...
I'm Gökhan. I'm a sales engineer for SUSE. I'm based in San Diego.
Awesome. So we're going to talk about managing Red Hat and CentOS with SUSE Manager today. We have a few slides, but we also have 2 demos. And I make every assurance that these demos are live and they're being carried out right here in front of you. That means that if there is failure, you will not be terribly surprised, right? So why manage Red Hat and CentOS with SUSE Manager? Because you can. So that's probably a good reason, right? So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about some of the common challenges that you might face. How many of you have already tried or are currently managing Red Hat and CentOS with SUSE Manager? Yeah, that's okay too. There's love there to be had. Using expanded support channels, we'll talk about that, but we will also talk about using native channels. And my buddy Gökhan is the Red Hat guy today, and I am the CentOS guy. You like that? Yeah, it was kind of secret, wasn't it? Anyways, okay, so, and then we'll have a demonstration of each. We have a collection of some resources that might be useful to you. And of course, we will ask you questions at the end. So why manage Red Hat and CentOS with SUSE Manager? It's really a unique offering because we cross enterprise distributions. Red Hat chooses to pretend as if we didn't exist. Somewhat ignorant, but whatever. Like many organizations, you already have SUSE and CentOS Red Hat somewhere running in your enterprise. Because lots of times you have a vendor that says, heck, we only run on Red Hat, so I got to have a Red Hat server in there or my software doesn't work. Or maybe you haven't yet upgraded to SLES and you still have some Red Hat that you're responsible for, so you have to do that. Or maybe you're like one of my customers that is 100% Red Hat and couldn't stand them anymore, so they got SUSE Manager and expanded support. And they just renewed, actually, last year. This is their 4th year of going with that. So you could be any of those. Other offerings might have fallen short of these lofty ideals, and you are trying to do something that has a terrific value point. And the promise of salt. Well, to be honest with you, when I typed those words and put the slide in here, it was only a promise, but today that promise will be delivered upon. Whoa! Okay. So, wow, look at that. I'm getting applause already. Woohoo! Okay, what are some common challenges and elements that you should know about, okay? So there are 2 supported environments. This is the 3rd time I've done the Red Hat and CentOS management with SUSE Manager presentation at a SUSECON, and the first time that I felt really good about what these supported environments are. So you can buy expanded support from SUSE, and we'll show you what that looks like. We have mirrored those channels. This is where SUSE delivers the patch content for either Red Hat or CentOS, and you subscribe those systems to those channels. Everything gets delivered out of Customer Center, just like it would if it were a SLES box. And the subscriptions actually handle just like SLES. So unlike Red Hat subscriptions, which are designed to make Red Hat way too much money, these are managed just like SLES subscription. So same utilization model, everything is SLES. It's actually priced the same. It just includes support for RHEL and CentOS. You can also use, if you are, how many of you are existing Red Hat customers? Okay. So those of you who are existing, yeah, don't look like you're sad. Yeah, it's sort of. Well, it's sort of like what Tim Allen said about the Clintons, that they're like a sexually transmitted disease. They keep coming back in different forms. So, Red Hat subscription, we will support the SUSE Manager functions, and you get to bring in the content. All you have to do is bring to me your Red Hat entitlement cert, which is exactly what Catello is consuming, and SAT6 and all of those pieces. And we can insert that into SUSE Manager, and we'll show you how we have done and we'll do that. Patience and effort can produce an effective management platform. And any of you who have tried this, you'll agree with me that this may be an understatement. So here's some of the challenges to trying to do this. Okay, one, Red Hat doesn't want you to do it because then they lose the SAT revenue, right? They don't like that. Also, the RHN stack, which we're also in the process of deprecating inside of SUSE Manager, is now classic, which means that your grandmother used to listen to this, okay? So don't keep doing this for the rest of your life. You have super large repositories, right? So you'll have repositories that are somewhere north of 20,000 packages and a couple thousand errata. SUSE Manager behaves pretty differently under them circumstances. So it ain't your granny's SLES 12 SP2. It's going to have a lot of packages. And this means you're going to need more disk space and var spacewalk. You probably already have to allocate more, but on the Red Hat side, this grows exponentially. So you're up somewhere north of 80 gig on doing a Res 6 channel. Okay, so think about that. Make this LVM if possible, so that in future you can be like me and have 5 disks.
At least 5 disks.
I have 5 disks. Yeah. Yes, everything is fully functional. So SUSE Manager, so the question is that with SLES you can do clone by date and all the other functionality inside of SUSE Manager. There is no feature that's going to be missing, okay, including salt, and we're going to show you that.
What I'm saying, even with the Red Hat channels, you're not going to...
Yeah, if you clone this by date, I mean, obviously this is not going to take more disk space, but this is going to be database stuff. And the database chunks away a little bit on 25,000 package channels, okay? So just to let you know the expectation level. The initial channel sync alone can...
Yeah.
Okay, can you read this? Can you do this point for me, really?
You couldn't read it.
The initial channel sync can task-o-matic.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
Do you know what task-o-matic is? Who knows what task-o-matic is? Yeah? Yes. It's the Java virtual machine that is the scheduler for SUSE Manager and the source of all past evil. We've spent a lot of time working on task-o-matic, and I actually spent time in a group in Nuremberg called Reducing Global Warming, trying to shorten the time for initial package sync. And those of you who played with it understand why, right? So in this case, we only own the package and patch content from expanded support channels. So if you're providing custom channels and Red Hat 7 native channel, Red Hat native channels are considered custom. Don't call me if it's a sucky patch or if it has a colon in the name of the patch, which currently is busting salt clients, and we're going to get it fixed, right? Who puts a colon in the name of an RPM? Give me that other one. I'll tell you who does. Red Hat does. They put a freaking colon in the name. Whatever. Okay, so documentation is also sometimes unclear, non-specific, or not present. Okay? And we're trying to resolve some of that. The wiki is hopefully going to give you some pointers, and it gets greatly simplified with the SALT processes too. So here's some of the key common elements. Obviously, increase the load time for initial channel sync. We talked about that already. Monitoring the errata and errata parsing. So if you're using anything except CentOS native channels, the errata parsing happens automatically. So if you follow channel sync processes in SUSE Manager, you know the first thing it does is it validates the metadata and says, okay, you have rights to this channel. And then it goes and gets the repomd.xml, figures out how many packages are in there, and then compares that to what you already have in the database. Then all the RPMs come down, and they get database entered. Then it does the patch parsing or the errata parsing. Native Red Hat channels, no problem. Errata parsing goes like a dream in SUSE Manager. It knows how to figure it out. CentOS, not so much, right? Even with spacewalk, if you've tried doing spacewalk against CentOS native channels, it does not parse the errata by default. And I have some methodology for resolving that issue. Bootstrap repositories become a little bit challenging. Up until recently, you couldn't even use the MGR create bootstrap repo against Red Hat channels. It didn't work. It's sort of kind of fixed mostly, and I'll give you some pointers. Okay. GPG keys for repositories actually get used. So if you're used to bootstrap scripts where you don't even have to worry about it, that's not the case with the Red Hat side. You do have to worry about it. So you have to manage those. You can put them in your bootstrap script, but you definitely want them in SRV www htdocs pub. And then obviously, in order to make registration effective, we do some modifications to the bootstrap script, a couple of which are below the line that says, do not edit below this line. So forgive me, whoever wrote that. So using expanded support with SUSE Manager. So do any of you in here have an expanded support subscription? Yeah, several, okay. So this will support both Red Hat and CentOS. The Customer Center is the source of the update channels. The base channel for it has how many packages? Anybody know? 0, that's correct. It has no packages. Because we don't supply you the base media, you're bringing your media with you, and you can create that as a child channel and integrate it. So MGR Sync and the GUI product integration are there for all the expanded support channels, so you can find it in there and check it off. Experience is the most like SLES and all the standard documentation, so it's going to feel a lot more like doing that. And just like with Red Hat channels, everything's lumped into one giant thing. So the res channels are really big. They are actually built for SUSE by EPAM, an external outsourcer, and they include the debug info packages, which makes the channel even bigger, really big and kind of nasty. So you might want to clone it and filter stuff. You can if you want. And unlike Red Hat, the base media is customer provided. So you cannot assume all the base media packages are going to be in that res 6-x8664 channel. Some packages may not be in there. So the assumption is you're going to create a custom channel with the base media. That's highlighted in the wiki and how to do that. So I already said the parent channel has no packages. SUSE Manager can sync 3 channels. Here they are. The platform, which is updates, really, the equivalent of updates. the HA one, which we actually do the Red Hat HA ones. And we also have a SUSE Manager tools channel for each of the RHEL platforms. In the case of RHEL 5, this is all about the RHN stack. In the case of 6 and 7, the SALT minions are also delivered in this SUSE Manager tools channel for Red Hat. And when I say they're delivered for Red Hat, that's as of SUSE Manager 3.0.1, which just shipped October 24th. So if you haven't updated it since then, you're missing it. And what's wrong with you? Okay, so the base media channel has to be added for dependency resolution. Guess who asked me, why do I have to do that? That seems like a hassle. Yeah. Yeah, so do this, okay? And here's the thing on how to sync the base media. There's a link in here. This will all be part of the archival things for the presentations and everything. So here's some recommendations. You're going to add that base media repo as child channels, because if you have both CentOS and Red Hat, you don't want the same base media for those. It will get confusing, and you can keep the same 0-channel parent and do it that way by using activation keys to assign the channels. You're going to want to provision var spacewalk adequately because you'll need lots of disk space.
Can you say that Red Hat or anything that's not SUSE goes in somewhere else besides var spacewalk?
No, everything goes there. It's just that we don't use it at the same rate with SLES.
Oh, can you say in the...
You can't like say, oh, if you're a Red Hat channel, go fill up this disk space. No, it doesn't work.
But in general, I mean, he's asking, right, as a general rule, can you change that directory? Or can you change the location?
Yeah, no, var spacewalk is where it is. I mean, you could mount
you could
something there. I mean, by default, we create a separate file system for SUSE Manager 3 for var spacewalk.
Yeah.
And we recommend XFS, but you can make it whatever you want.
You could configure LVMs and mount
right.
a separate partition there, for example.
You could mount over it or under it.
Yeah, yeah. Increase the maximum memory for Task-O-Matic because it's a JVM, right? It has a max memory setting in SUSE Manager 3. Here's where it tells you how to do it in a wiki, right? But it looks like this, task-o-matic.java.maxmemory. It used to be just task-o-matic.maxmemory. Upstream made some changes, so we have to accommodate it. So by default on SUSE Manager 3, it's 2 gig. That's never going to, 100% of the time, your Red Hat initial channel sync will blow up Task-O-Matic. Okay? Unless you change this to at least 3 gig, forget it. It's going to puke. It'll never finish the initial sync. And you'll see, you know, you got packages of no errata, or maybe it didn't finish the channel repo data. All of those are symptoms that you just starved out your scheduler.
Is that somewhere in a UI or it's a file?
This is actually editing RHN.conf and then restart Task-O-Matic because it reads it out of there, this entry. With the next rev of updates for SUSE Manager, they will finally address the bug that I issued 2 years ago that creates a commented entry in the RHN.conf that tells you this, so you don't have to go looking at the frickin' wiki, whatever. So keep in mind also the binary relationship for Red Hat subscriptions. This is really important. You can't like do, okay, I'm going to do expanded support for half of my portfolio, and then the other half I'm going to get from Red Hat. No, you can't do that. It's either on or off, right? You either get all your subscriptions from Red Hat, or you tell them to get lost and do none of them from Red Hat, okay? If you start screwing around with that, they're going to audit you,
yeah,
and
we
you'll
don't
be
tell
screwed.
them that, right? The Red Hat tells them that.
Huh?
They have that rule, that all or nothing rule.
Yeah, this is coming from Red Hat. We're just passing it on because we love you. So now using Red Hat native channels with SUSE Manager, and I already know some of you want to do this, right? It used to be super complicated and you had to have this third-party intermediary, unsupported, crappily working solution that the original developer even gave up on, mrepo. Do not go back to them days. With Red Hat Native, you can use, again, full SUSE Manager functionality. We don't cut anything out. There's no intermediary software required at all, just your SUSE Manager box. And this works on 2.1 or on 3. It uses the same entitlement certs as the native Red Hat update tools. So the chances of it getting busted by Red Hat are very slim to 0, right? But again, it uses your entitlement cert. So if you let your subscription lapse, it ain't gonna work no more, okay? So you gotta have an active subscription with Red Hat. And then you get all the channels to which you are subscribed. So you're not limited like on expanded support where we don't have collections and we don't have extras. Because you're a Red Hat customer, you get everything to which you're entitled, right? And one of the great advantages is it is not Satellite 6, which sucks. And most of my customers that are being forced to go to this are holding out long time. But guess what? The clock is ticking and it's about to die at the end of April of 2017. Red Hat quit supporting Sat 5. So you're going to have to make a decision. You probably already know this and you've probably been super pressured by Red Hat. Go get Sat 6. The errata parsing is integrated. All the patch severity and relevance is maintained. And actually you can see all the, there's several categories. You have a security patch, enhancement, and bug fix. And Red Hat calls them different labels, but they're the same, right? So everything gets maintained the same way. So all that cool patch stuff that SUSE Manager does works great. So how does it work? So you maintain your Red Hat entitlement. Do not come to me and call SUSE and say, well, hey, my Red Hat subscription ran out. Sorry, okay, that's between you and them. It integrates with custom channels, okay? And we cannot go out and figure out what in the heck channels you have rights to. You're going to have to figure that out yourself. We give you the base URL for the server stuff in the docs that I built, but it allows you to bring your cert and the channel URL and put that into SUSE Manager, and then you set the sync schedule on how often you want that to go back up against Red Hat CDN. Base media is included in the server channel on this one because it's Red Hat, right? It's just like if you were using Sat 5, right? SUSE Manager Tools channel has to be created for you to get client functionality. And you can clone this one from the Res Tools channel. The good news is it doesn't take any subscription to get the Res SUSE Manager Tools channels. If you have no subscription, it shows up. Can you believe that? So even you peoples who are Red Hat natives, if you buy a SUSE Manager subscription, you'll still be able to go to our customer center and mirror that business. It's kind of fun. It makes my job easier because creating that is a piece of crud. Trying to do that manually, it's ugly. Okay, so let me take this thing off. Woo! Okay, using CentOS native channels with SUSE Manager. My first question to you is this supported? No, probably not. So,
Probably not.
But because, again, you are dear to me, we have shared this information and caused many headaches to ourselves. It uses the spacewalk common channel script to generate the custom channels. So instead of me bringing my URL from my knowledge of CentOS, which I could do, this can pre-populate them all with that script. So check that out. That's part of the spacewalk-utils package on SUSE Manager. If you don't have that package installed, shame on you because you should. It's easy, free, and works. And then again, you set the sync schedule and tell it how often you want to do it. Base media is included then in the base channel because it comes from CentOS, and their way of doing it is to create what's called from the CentOS vault. So anything that is not the current CentOS comes out of the vault, and they have half the number of mirrors, so it's super slow, and they hate you, and they want you to take everything up to current. SUSE Manager Tools channel, again, has to be created for client functionality. And again, we can clone that from the res tools, and I'll show you how we have done that. You also need a Bootstrap repository. And for the Salt Minion, you need Bootstrap repositories for both of them. And we'll kind of show you some Bootstrap stuff during the demo. So this is where it gets really, really bad, okay? Errata parsing. This is not for the faint of heart. So CentOS native channels show no patch or errata unless you do something. It just gets the packages. And then you see, oh, I've got an update for OpenSSL. Do I know what CVE that's associated with? See, you're shaking your head now. Give me an answer. No. Yeah, see, you don't. So I have special instructions on the SUSE Manager Wiki. If this is a part of your future, you will want to follow these, okay? There's a Perl script and to parse the errata, and the actual errata info themselves get downloaded from upstream. Careful. Specify the channels in that script to be included and excluded, so it only scans those channels. Otherwise, it'll scan all of your channels, and you don't want that. And then you can schedule it with cron, and this is not supported. So, but you can do it, and it won't invalidate your support unless you don't allocate enough space in var spacewalk, and you fill up the disk, and that's your fault. Okay, anyways, now we're going to do some demonstration. First, we're going to have Gokin showing you the Red Hat side, and then I will be showing you the CentOS side. He doesn't like wearing hats.
Okay, so we have two clients here. And as Don explained, there are two ways of managing a RHEL client. One is expanded support.
Oh, make it bigger. Control plus. Control Shift plus. Yeah, Control Shift plus, yeah. Is that better?
Better? Okay. One way is expanded support, in which case the RPM packages will be provided by SUSE. The other way is direct connection or native connection, in which case you will be using your own Red Hat subscriptions. You would be downloading your manifest from Red Hat website and importing that manifest to SUSE Manager, and then gain the ability to download RPM packages directly from Red Hat servers. Let me show you how the channels work. So I have two channels for Red Hat here. One is RHEL x86 Server 7. This is the expanded support one. This is the one that we fully support, both the mechanism of downloading the patches, also whatever is in the channel as well.
Is this where, if you need support for Red Hat, you call you guys?
Yes.
Yes.
So for
this is all calling us.
For this one, for expanded support.
Well, not me personally. Gokin.
Yeah.
You going to publish your phone number in this session?
Sure, no problem.
Okay, awesome.
I will give you yours, obviously. So this one, you could call us for anything, both the mechanism to download the patches and for the content as well. The other one, native, the direct connection, or whatever you would like to call it, we don't really care about what's in that channel. We only support you for the mechanism that allows you to download those patches.
So you're acting as a proxy, sort of.
Well, what it allows you to do then, if you're a Red Hat subscriber, you don't need to pay the extra tax for smart management. You don't need an entitlement for satellite. You can just get the RHEL subscription, and then you're paying SUSE for lifecycle management for that box.
Yes, so regardless of which channel you're using, every managed server will require a lifecycle management subscription. Okay, so if I go over to manage software channels here and manage repositories, so this one, I'll make it a little bit bigger if I can.
Whoa,
Okay.
that's good.
That's good, right?
Big.
So this one, see, the repository URL is Red Hat Content Distribution Network. So the patches, the packages, RPM packages, are being pulled directly from this URL. Okay, and it has the certifications here.
There's
and
two
there's
different certs. Scroll down there. So there's two different certs that you need. This is the Red Hat public key cert. This is the Red Hat public cert, right? This is the one that's in your entitlement, in that manifest, and part of your manifest.zip file that you can get off of CDN. There's a subdirectory called entitlement cert, and the only file in it is your entitlement cert. Amazing. And then you can put that in both the certificate and the key, because the cert contains both. Okay? Mm-hmm. And then that's it for the repository part.
Yeah, that's it for the repository part. And then you associate that repository with an actual channel. And it's this one. Here you can give a name, native or direct connection or whatever. And then after you set up this channel,
you were almost there, man. You gotta do this repository and show the sync part.
yeah, hang on, okay.
Go back to manage.
Channels, manage software channels.
Yep, repositories up there.
Repositories. So this is where you associate that repository that I just showed you with a channel. And here you can actually, where do we schedule
back
channels?
Yeah, click on that channel. You were there. Click on the channel.
Made it too big.
Crap, it's not managing. Go to manage software channels. I'll talk you through this. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, click on that. Repositories up at the top. And sync right there. See the sync?
Yeah, that one.
So, you can do a one-time sync or a scheduled sync from this interface, right?
And yeah, this is how often SUSE Manager will be downloading those RPM packages from Red Hat CDN. The other one is the expanded support channel. Configuring this is a lot easier since it's a supported feature. You just go over to admin, SUSE products. Of course, there's a way to do this from shell as well. And this will show you all the products that you have access to with your SUSE customer-centric credentials. It's not gonna load because I don't have an internet connection here.
So on mine, it shows Red Hat, but when you add it, it doesn't pull anything down because obviously I don't have support for Red Hat.
No, it doesn't show the native channel here. You configure that manually.
Yeah, but if he wants to get the tools channel, you can do it from the command line of the server with mgr sync space add space channels, and it will show up in the list.
So anything shows up here, that
It's coming from syncing with Customer Center.
if you click on Red Hat 1 that it supposedly shows up here, can you go back and say, change it to the native?
No, you don't have that kind of control from this interface.
It doesn't say there's nothing.
Because
that would
this
say
is
Red Hat here.
this is only SUSE Customer Center connected, right? That doesn't appear on Spacewalk or SAT5, either one.
So you have to go to Manage Software Channels and
Yes.
add one.
Yep.
So you go over to here.
Yep. You
and
got to
then
add the custom.
You create a channel, and then associate that channel with a repository.
Yep. And notice that Gokin has a clone of the tools channel. So this is actually coming from SUSE's Customer Center so that we can actually install the Salt Minion and whatever else we need from that channel.
Yeah, so talked about Bootstrap repositories. This one has packages that you would need in a Bootstrap repository. Okay. So a Bootstrap repository is basically the RPM packages you would need to register a client.
Does everybody understand what Bootstrap repos are? Yeah, Richard's nodding his head up here in the front, so.
And there are two ways of doing that, actually. One is, well, you will always need a Bootstrap repository for Red Hat and CentOS clients, for Salt components. But sometimes you will need to provide clients dependency packages. And those dependency packages are not provided by our official channels. That's why you need to mount the image to the clients. But if this is a test environment, or you're just testing stuff, you can actually just identify those RPM packages and manually put those packages in your Bootstrap repository. If you want to maintain those packages, though, that would eliminate the need to mount the image to the client that you're trying to register. And Don doesn't really like this method because
it screws up my documentation. I hate it.
Yeah,
but it works. It's effective.
That
right?
allows you to just register a client with a just one-line command.
This is what my wife says to me all the time, that I screw up her documentation. I don't do it her way.
Then we'll
So
just
you're
update
just
the
as bad.
documentation.
What's up with you?
Okay, and so let's look at the Salt screen here. So this is obviously where you would see the client keys when you're trying to register a client. You approve those keys. I'm not really getting into too much detail for this session, but they will then show up here. And it will also show you the base channel of a client. So this one, you can tell by the name, it is the expanded support channel. This one is the native channel, the direct connection channel.
And in the real world, you would never see both of those because, as we told you, subscriptions with Red Hat are binary, but because this is special, it's just for today, okay?
Mm-hmm. Just for testing purposes.
Right.
And what else?
Do you want to show them the actual channels from Red Hat Native, see how many packages you got?
Yeah, so this one, for example.
10,862 packages and 1,200 errata in that sucker.
And this is RHEL 7. RHEL 6 has more than twice as much.
Show them the channel tree under ours. Click on the plus there on the RHEL 7.
Even expand support?
Yeah, that one. 13,892 packages and 1,366 errata.
Mm-hmm. And after this point, package, patch management, configuration management, everything is the same basically. So if you want to, let me quickly demonstrate how to install a package. Is it readable from back there?
Make it a little bigger. You can just use the same plus keys, Chief.
Does it work here?
Yeah. Just go out there, Control-Shift++. It should work.
Nope.
Doesn't work. Okay. Go ahead, keep going, man. Never mind me.
Okay,
There you
20 should be fine. Okay, so this one is the native clients, the direct connection to Red Hat network. And
Do a
let's...
yum repo list so you show them what repo it says. You'll notice that when he does yum repo list, you have that same SUSE Manager : in front of the channels that you would on salt clients for SLES.
So the Bootstrap script, you put that in.
The salt minion added those as a result of it using the activation key for channel assignment. So essentially, yeah, they got put in there on a Bootstrap script.
Okay, let's install a package here. Go to software, install, and kernel.doc, for example. This is a nice testing package.
Yeah, doc packages are great to test with because, you know, they're not going to ruin any functionality, right?
Hopefully, yeah. Hopefully it will work.
Yeah.
Install selected packages.
Same thing
confirm.
as everything else in SUSE Manager. You got the same scheduler and the whole bit, right?
Yeah.
It's a management client. You need to run it on RH and check on the server.
Yeah, so he's only showing you salt clients. I have both salt and traditionally managed clients in my demo. So yeah, if it's not checking in with the traditional communication methods like OSAD, you have to go to the command line and run RHN check to get it to wake up.
Yeah, you can use OSAD, in which case you won't need to manually run RHN _check.
Unless OSAD breaks, and then that's beyond this session, right?
Yes, essentially. It periodically checks the server and see if there's a scheduled task. If there is, it just pulls it and executes that task. So yeah, that's basically it. That's how you install a package to a native Red Hat client. We could do the same to the other one. Do you want to show them anything else? You could also, well, not directly related to this session, but let me show you how to do simple salt states.
Yeah. And the other thing is, too, this bootstrapping thing should work fine with Red Hat also. As long as you have done the mgr create bootstrap repo, right?
Yes. So to create a bootstrap repository, you will first need to...
I'll cover that.
Yeah, okay. Do you want to do that now?
No, go ahead. You're doing the
state?
states, right?
Okay, so let's say test, just say test, and content. I'm just going to copy and paste from my example here. Okay, so this is for an Apache configuration, but let's just keep this simple for now. Test.txt, file managed, source. Let's say, so this one, I will explain to you in a second here. So what we're saying here is the file will be under root, and the file on the server will be test.txt, and the default directory for salt states is /srv /salt.
That's where we've designed for you on the SUSE Manager server to store content you wish to control and deliver to your salt minions. Mm-hmm. And it's the same for SLES clients as it is for RHEL clients.
Yeah, so we'll go into srv.salt and create that test.txt file. Test 1, 2, 3. And we'll go over to, let's do the other client. the expanded support clients. I will go over to states. So you can apply salt states to individual servers, groups, and the whole organization if you want. It will be a custom state. I'll do just a search, save, and apply.
Why does it save and apply?
Good question.
Yes, this is a good question for the person who's responsible for making the UI more intuitive, which would be me.
I ran into this problem. I keep applying this. It's not doing anything.
Yeah, what the heck? Yeah, you're not saving it.
We
Yeah,
all did the same
it will warn you if you didn't save it. Hey, wait a minute. You tried to apply it and you didn't save it. So why don't you just do it? What the heck? Why do we have to make it 20 steps? We make everything too dang hard.
So that's what the save is doing.
Okay, you ready?
The apply is like a
Let me just
Got more?
mention this
Got another
just
one?
one more time. So as you can see, sorry about that. As you can see, the file is already pushed to the client. It's copied. It's under there. It is really fast. I mean, integrating Salt to SUSE Manager made things considerably faster.
Yeah, so if you're used to
it is-
using SUSE Manager 2.1 and kind of waiting until things get done, you will be pleasantly,
It is noticeably
Surprised,
faster, even
yeah.
in demo systems.
yeah.
All right.
Are you done?
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay, now to woohoo, man. Okay, here we go.
Who calls himself that?
Me. Okay, I'm going to take off my Red Hat hat because now I am Mr. CentOS. CentOS being a little more complicated causes problems because it can. So I'm going to show you a few things here from the command line, and then we'll go look at our boxes, and hopefully we'll be done in the next few minutes here. So this is where the Bootstrap repositories get created. You'll notice that it didn't used to have this res directory here. And with the brand newest version of SUSE Manager now, it will create that. So when I do mgr create bootstrap repo, and I do -- help here, you'll notice that there's a new option in here at the bottom called with custom channels. Ooh. Yes. Oh, somebody needs to give him a sticky notepad. I'll do that in a minute. Okay, so he works for us, so he's okay. So this with custom channels enables you to incorporate the base media channels we talked about earlier that you create for Red Hat. You will need those for dependency resolution when you create the Red Hat Bootstrap repositories. So you're going to do -- with - custom channels, right? And now in your list, look at that. It used to only ever say SLESI things, these need some love too. They're really good. But now you can actually recreate these anytime, because what it does is it pulls the necessary client packages out of the SUSE Manager tools channel that's associated with that distribution and architecture. Okay? Right, we're going to pick one right now. It doesn't write Bootstrap scripts. This recreates the Bootstrap repository, right? This is not. It will regen the repo data and copy down if there's newer files. For example, if there's a newer salt-minion, it will get updated with this. So you can it will actually show you the stuff that it's doing, right? Creating Bootstrap repository. This is a bug. I shouldn't say the latest service pack of Res 7. How many service packs are there in Res 7? So you can see it getting Salt Minion and the Python packages. This Python Jinja 2 is one that is not included in the tools channel, so it actually gets it from the upstream, right?
So if you run it again and you do the 6, whatever it has to,
Yeah.
is it going to add to it? It's like,
It's going to put it in the res 6 repository. Just like with SLES, it puts it in the 12.0, 12.1, 12.2. It will do res 6. Red Hat 5 is another whole case. Don't make me go there. Send me an email, because it's ugly and it's old and you didn't care about it anyways, right? So now that I have this, I can actually register Red Hat repos, Red Hat servers or CentOS servers with my box. Oh, you want me to show them the whole thing here? So if I cd to res, you'll see there's one on mine for 5, 6, and 7. I followed that directory structure because I'm trying to be consistent with what we're doing on the server. So cd to 7, and then these are the things that we just created. Oops. You have, there's one 32-bit package, there's a bunch of no-arcs, and then there's a lot of stuff in the x86-64. And then the repo data, dir, contains a couple of things that are important. Yeah, this is yum, right? You don't have a key in here by default. So if you have to insert the GPG key, this uses the same certs on the Red Hat side, if you already know this, SRV, www, htdocs, pub. No, just right there. I need to cd to that, right? This is where all the GPG keys get stored. If you use these, you can create a comma delimited list in your Bootstrap script, and it will automatically do the RPM import statement on your client system when you run a Bootstrap. So you're going to want the ones that come with your SUSE system, put all of them on there because you trust them, right? So whatever. Our res key ends up getting, I can't remember which one, I think it picks up from this, right? Is that right? I think so. But you're going to want to put these keys in your Bootstrap script. You want me to show them the Bootstrap script here? So in the Bootstrap scripts, because this has both traditionally managed client and Salt clients, I distinguish my Bootstrap scripts that have Salt integration in them. So we just changed this with SUSE Manager 3.0.1 now. You can create a Bootstrap script with Salt. Woo! It's amazing. Yeah, it actually works. So I'm going to look at my Bootstrap script for Salt for CentOS 7, okay?
the system creates one Bootstrap script.
Yeah, and I just use it as a template, right?
Whatever OS they want to use.
Well, actually, there's a concept of activation keys. Do you associate?
Right. So you'll notice that what I'm changing in here, I changed the activation key, and here's my list of GPG keys, okay? They're all listed here. I just put everything in there. It's like, I don't care, because I don't want to mess with it ever again. There are some things that happen in this, and then I'm going to quit, okay? Because I'm getting close. So you'll notice that I've used yum config manager to add the repo for my client, okay? And then I've also added this this key, which is my GPG key, into this. I incorporated this one separately because this is a Bootstrap repo. I wanted to make sure I had it right. With CentOS on the wiki instructions, it tells you to use one that's in the OpenSUSE build service, but I already had this, so I just used that.
When you run manage to create the script, you have to go to the script and put the key name, which is that one dash, whatever it is, so that's 11, SD, whatever. Now, did you add these manually in that file? The yum?
Yes, I added those separately. You may also want to do
So for red,
one other thing that you might want to do is uninstall some things. So I have a client here. Here's an example of my Res 7 one. Because Red Hat, like we said before, let me page up here. Red Hat is deprecating the traditional stack, right? So what you want to do is make sure that you're not using Subscription Manager anymore on your Red Hat native channels, because this gets installed sometimes. And then you will have dueling repositories, and that's the last thing that you want to do. So this is the list of things that it will succeed or fail on that will get all of them, right? And if you do RPM-E, it should take care of all the dependencies, all that stuff will be done, right? So this list goes all the way down to here, and then I usually do a yum clean all.
is this in the slides on the website?
That's in the wiki. So, okay. And just like Gokin, I have clients too. I'm awesome too. I can be just like you. So here's my server, and I've got a bunch of systems. Only one of them's not checking in right now. I have a Red Hat 5 one that's not checking in, but that's okay too. You can see some of these are salt. One of them is a management client. I can mix and match even if I want to and put them in SSM. It gives you a warning. Don't pay attention. This at the top, oh my gosh! It's just a warning, okay? It's just because the list is smaller. But you can still do the same kind of stuff. So I can patch my boxes, I can update them, I can do, I got a bunch of systems that are affected by patches. When I look at the CentOS patches, it looks pretty different from my, you'll notice that this is a CESA, because this is a CentOS patch. It's not an Red Hat one. Here's the Red Hat one, here's the CentOS one. So I have stuff from both CentOS native channels and the other stuff in here. And my parser did all those wonderful, cool things. Okay, we have one slide for, hang on. Let me get there. Okay, how do I start with just this slide? Is it going to work? No, it ain't going to work. No, it didn't work. Oh, look at that. This is sweet. Okay, so here's the resources that we got for you. They have the expanded support web page. We also have the wiki. And this is dynamic content, so don't assume that if you read it today, it's going to... oh, this was updated and crap. Come back tomorrow and hopefully I'll be fixed. Here's some other relevant SUSE Manager sessions that you might be interested in. Some use cases of SUSE Manager in heterogeneous environment. We already had SUSE Manager for Smarties. How many of you were in there? Yeah, it was pretty fun, wasn't it? So, and with that, we're out of time, but I'll take... and if you have one question, anybody? Yeah, go ahead.
So, is it possible to narrow down patches for workload by workload?
Yes. And don't call me. Again, what I would suggest is that you use the Spacewalk Common Channels utility, because that script has all the Oracle Yum repos in them, even the UEK stuff, right?
I got it to work on 2.1. Got to the point of not getting, but it didn't pull in. I think I missed that extra step of pulling in all patch.
Well, it does parse natively Oracle Enterprise Linux packages, so it does work.
Among other things like scientific Linux.
But Oracle tells you on their website that they support Oracle Enterprise Linux managed with Spacewalk. That works fine. But to expect as much as 2 days for initial channel sync, which is pretty exciting for you. Leave your system syncing for 2 days. Thanks everybody for attending, and fill out the evals and have a good day.